so much. Okay, so now, how does that help me in preaching this psalm if I'm going to preach this psalm? Well, it helps me in recognizing that when I read verse 3, that the second and the third line are telling me something very important about the first line. Know that the Lord is God. Why is he saying that? I think he's saying it because he wants us to understand that we belong to him, that we're his. He made us, and therefore we're his. And so that just makes then the point, know that the Lord is God. And because he is God, he made us. And because he made us, we're his people, the sheep of his pasture. So that's that. Okay, let's get to verse 4. And Isaac, would you like to read verse 4 for us, please?
Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name.
Okay, what is this?
This definitely is adding information, I guess. Like with thanksgiving, first we are entering his gates with thanksgiving, and then we are entering his courts with praise. So third line, I guess, saying the same thing as the second line. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Like first we are thanking him, and then we are praising him.
Okay, so tell me how how does the third line relate to the first and second line in verse 4? How does the third line relate to the first and second line?
Sir, there is thanksgiving in the first line, so it says give thanks to him, and then in second line it's and his quotes with praise, so it's also and praise his name. That's how it connects.
So isn't that interesting? That's on purpose. This is not accidental. What he does is in the first line he says thanksgiving, the second line he says praise, and then he sums up the first and second line with the third line. Give thanks to him and praise his name. The third line is definitely repetition. Third line is definitely repetition. In some ways, the second line is adding to the first line, but probably not. They're probably saying the same thing. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts. Well, the courts here is talking about the temple. So it's talking about the gates of the temple, and then it's talking about entering the courts. Maybe adding to it, it may not be. But definitely the third one is not adding. It's just repeating. So then when I'm going to preach this, I want to make sure I don't put too much emphasis on, oh, there's a difference, because the difference is not the point that he's making. It's poetry, and Hebrew poetry likes repeating the same thing. That's what they do. Okay, verse 5. Shouldn't, would you like to, Matthew the tax collector, shouldn't, would you like to read verse 5 for us, please?
For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations.
All right, so now, here's our question. Obviously, this is not a triplet. It's a doublet. Got that. And our question then is, okay, so we've got a doublet here. Is this adding or is this repeating?
I think, sir, adding.
What's it adding?
But for me, all three different things, like God is faithful and his mercy is like eternal. Yeah.
Sir,
I think that's mentioning the reward of submitting to him or entering in his kingdom.
Sir, I guess it's repeating his love endures forever, and in second its faithfulness continues through all generations, like it's eternal. His faithfulness and his love is eternal.
Okay, so now these two guys are disagreeing with each other. This is very disturbing. So what are we going to do? adding? Is it giving us more information? Is it giving us clearer information? Is it giving us different information? First line, second line. In the English, it only has it divided into 2 lines. It could be divided into 3 lines, but the English translators decided it was 2 lines. So for the Lord is good and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. Is the faithfulness continues through all generations adding to or repeating? Isaac says that it's repeating. Masood says it's adding. So which is it?
It's adding.
Why?
Because it's not repeating, it's a continuation of what's it says in the from 1 to 4, and it's adding to it, not repeating.
Is it adding to the first line in verse 5? The Lord is good and his love endures forever. Is that adding to it? Is that what you're saying?
It's adding to 4, 4, 1.
We don't do that though. In a doublet or triplet, we only look at the actual verse. So you're stuck with verse 5. So the question is the second line in verse 5 adding to the first line, or is it repeating the first line?
Sir, wait, let me think.
That it's giving clear information now.
Okay.
The information given, and that's more information to it, like clear information to it.
So
It says that his love endures forever, and then the next part says that it's for the whole generation, like all generation. It goes through all generations. So it's adding more meaning to it. It's clear information now.
I like that. That's good. That's good. Masood, what do you think?
Yeah, it is giving information, but it's telling about all 2 lines are about the God and his what he is like. For the Lord is good and his love endures. It's telling about 3 things, like his love and his faithfulness, and but all the 3 things are about to God, who is God.
And that's very good. And so we're going to say we're not sure, but it looks like it is adding to it. And it is about God. As Masood said, it's about God. And so obviously he, God, is the subject of the song. And what I want you to see is that when you read this, you have to see that verse 5 is all one. Even if it's adding, you can't separate the first line from the second line. They really, really stick together. And so what I want us to see is verses 1 and 2, those 3 lines stick together. Verse 3, those 3 lines stick together. Verse 4, those 3 lines stick together. And then verse 5, those 2 lines, they stick together. And so when you read it and you praise God for it, or when you think about it, you need to read those lines so that you keep those lines together that are together. And you'll notice that each one of the triplets is different. Shouting, worshiping, coming before him with songs. It's different from knowing that the Lord is God, that he made us, that we are his people. It's different from enter his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise, give thanks to him. And then finally, that's different from the Lord is good and his love endures forever. See how each triplet, and then the last one's a doublet, they're all different from each other. Hebrew, that's the way they do poetry. That's exactly the way they love doing this, okay? So any questions about, we started off with a super simple song. Obviously, this is a very simple song. Any questions or observations or anything?
Sir, that if you're going to give this type of verses in the questions, like in quiz, it would be very difficult. See, we were 4 people and we all had different opinions on it, and I'm afraid we might all score zeros. Is there any easier way to identify? Because it's confusing. It's the simplest psalm, but still it's confusing for us.
Let's see if it's confusing after 3 weeks. Because we're going to be looking at lots of poetry. So it may be that it won't be confusing after 3 weeks, because the more we look at, because you never worried about this before, and so this is kind of a new thing. However, I want to say that don't feel, this is very important, don't feel like wait a minute, I have to set my to-do. Somebody just told me something I've got to do, and I'll never remember. So many to-dos, I'm gonna go crazy. It's so rude of me to do this, but that's life. Okay, now, here's the deal. You are not Hebrews, so you don't read this the way a Hebrew would read it. Just like when I hear people do Urdu poetry, I'm like, I don't understand. And when I hear Urdu poetry, I mean, it's, and all the people go, wah, wah, and I'm like, going, what? It's because I don't know the form. I don't understand how it works. And so that's what's going on here. Okay, so let's look at another psalm. We're going to do psalm that's also rather easy. Psalm 136. I want to show you something that's kind of surprising. Okay, so this is obviously a chanted, sung sort of a thing. Like one person's going to sing, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good," and then probably the congregation would sing, "His love endures forever." And then the singer would sing, "Give thanks to the God of gods," and the congregation would sing, "His love endures forever." And then the singer would sing, "Give thanks to the Lord of hosts," and the congregation would sing, "His love endures forever." So that's the format of it. We're going to talk about the word love for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we will look at the parallelism. That's the couplets and triplets, because they're here. They're totally here. And it really makes a difference when you read it. And you don't think about it, but once you see it, it's like, oh, wow, it's really very important. All right, so start. The word love, I know of 2 important words for love. There are more than that in Hebrew for love, but ahav and chesed. This is the word chesed. Chesed is a very common word in the Old Testament. Chesed means love, but chesed is translated in different ways. Let me just show you. I'm going to go over to this Bible here, and this is the same psalm. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, for His, and they translate chesed, loving kindness. So the NIV translates chesed, love. New American Standard translates chesed, loving kindness. Those are kind of different from each other. And then the Holman Christian Standard calls it love. The Good News Bible calls it love. So normally what people do is they say, well, almost all of the versions call it love, so that must be what it is. But it isn't exactly love. Chesed is different. I'm going to give you English examples because I don't know Urdu, so I'm going to give you English examples. If a guy says, I really like that girl, that means one thing. If he says, I love that girl, that means another thing. If he says, I adore that girl, that means another thing. If he says, I'm in love with that girl, that means something else. So there's 4 different ways of saying the same thing, but they're not saying the same thing. Same thing with chesed. Yes, chesed is love. Yes, it has that idea of love in it. But it doesn't just mean love. It means a special kind of love. Lots of scholars say it's love that comes from mercy. That's different. To talk about love that comes from mercy is different than love that comes from emotion, or love that comes from need, or love that comes because the person's great. Maybe you love somebody because the person's great, like Jonathan loved David. Why did he love David? Because David's a great person. He killed Goliath, and Jonathan loved him because of it. That's fine, but that's not what Hesed means. Hesed means that God loves because God is merciful. So that's why the New American Standard translates it loving kindness. No, that's not New American Standard. New American Standard says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his loving kindness. Because the New American Standard said, all right, nobody says loving kindness. But we're going to use the word loving kindness. It has the idea of love that comes out of mercy. It's love, but it's love mixed together with kindness. And it's there because of God's mercy. All right? So when you see that, but then other very, very good scholars argue that this word hesed here, this word right here, hesed, they very, very good scholars argue, yes, but hesed really means a covenant love. All right, now that's a little different from loving kindness. Covenant love is love when God makes a commitment to someone. And the proof of his commitment, the proof of his love is the fact he doesn't break his commitment. And so it has the idea of mercy too, but hesed here means that God has committed himself to the Hebrews, and he is faithful to his commitment. And that's what loving kindness means. So very good scholars say that it's a covenant commitment. Very good scholars say that it is something which is born out of mercy. It could be both. That's legitimate. But it's something like that. Okay, so we're going to see this in every verse of this psalm. It's all the way down to the end, all the way through the end. So we're going to see this word over and over again. Okay, Isaac, we're going to start with you. Read verses 1, 2, and 3. Isaac.
Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His love endures forever.
Now, it happens to be a triplet, but it's really not a triplet. It is a triplet because it says give thanks 3 times. But what's really going on is you really have the first sentence, and then the second and the third sentence are really illustrating or explaining or showing the first sentence. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Okay. Give thanks to the God of gods. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. We see how verse 2 and verse 3 are identical. Give thanks to the God of gods. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. Those are identical. They seem to be showing the meaning of the first verse, or maybe not, that's not exactly right. They seem to be sort of commenting on the first verse. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Give thanks to the God of gods. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. We won't need to say anything more about that yet. Just keep that in mind. We'll come back to it, maybe, depending on our time. Okay, now we go to verse 4. So why don't you read in Urdu for us, okay? So read 4 through 9.
Only 4?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay?
उसी का जो अकेला बड़े बड़े अजीब काम करता है कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, उसी का जिसने धनाई से आसमान बनाया कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, उसी का जिसने जमीन को पानी पर फैलाया कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, उसी का जिसने बड़े बड़े नैयर बनाए कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, दिन को हुकूमत करने के लिए आफताब कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, रात को हुकूमत करने के लिए महताब और सितारे की उसकी शफकत अब्दी है आमीन
Okay, now tell me the pattern. What's the pattern? What do we have here? We have 6 verses. What do we have?
and adding the information about what he does.
Okay, so is this a sextet or is this a triplet or is it something else? Is it 2 triplets or is it 1 sextet? What is it? Sextet, I guess you would say. That's the way we say it, sextet in English. Doublet? It's not a doublet. So is it a triplet? Is it a sextet? What do we have? Because you've got who.
So I guess it's not triplet because all 6 of the verses are about his he may doing creation and making big things, great wonders like making sun, who made light, who made moon and stars, who spread out earth upon waters, like creating the earth and making heaven. So it's not triplet and it's not doublet.
Okay. Let's look at it a little bit more. And oh, by the way, something really weird. No, okay, let's go back. Let's 4, 5, and 6. All right. To him who does great wonders, who by his understanding made the heavens, who spread out the earth upon the waters, who made the great lights, the sun to govern by day, to govern the day, and the moon and stars to govern the night. I see something. I do see a pattern here. Tell me what the pattern is. There is a pattern here. What's the pattern?
At first, I guess it's about wonders of what he did and then what he made in last 3 verses.
Tell me about the last 3 verses, 7, 8, and 9. Tell me about those.
Sir, it's like great lights. So these 8 and 9, I guess, are giving us the clear image of 7, who made the great lights. Then he is explaining the sun and the moon.
Now, this is a pattern. This is a pattern here. He makes a statement, and then he says 2 statements that explain it or describe it. Who made the great lights? 1, the sun to govern the day. 2, the moon and stars to govern the night. So verse 7 is his statement. Verses 8 and 9 are his proving that. So what we have here is a, let me just take care of this. Okay, so what we have here is, okay, let's go back to verse 4. Isaac said that he does great wonders, and then 5 and 6 are somehow related to that. Explain to me how 5 and 6 are related to verse 4.
Sir, in 4 it's to whom who alone does great wonders. Then in 5 is by his understanding, like not with someone's help, but his understanding. And then who spread out the earth upon the waters. Like so I guess that uh, 5 and 6 are also explaining that how alone he did great wonders.
I think that Isaac is right. So that to him who alone he did great wonders, A, by his understanding made the heavens, B, he spread out the earth upon the waters. And then, who made the great lights? A, the sun to govern the day, B, the moon and stars to govern the night. So you see what's going on? What's going on looks like in the poetry, it seems like it's following this pattern. Now, in Hebrew poetry, it doesn't always follow this pattern. Often doesn't. But in Hebrew poetry, it's really important to realize that a Hebrew reads these things and it's like it soothes the Hebrew's soul, because the Hebrew is used to the patterns. And so the Hebrew grows up with these patterns and knows these patterns. And so the Hebrew expects things like this. And when the Hebrew hears these kinds of sentences, who made the great lights, the sun to govern the day, the moon and the stars to govern the night, it just feels right. Now here's roses are red and violets are blue. I love apples and John is stupid. Now that doesn't make any sense. Roses are red, violets are blue. I love apples and John is stupid. The reason it doesn't make any sense is because in English poetry, the fourth line has to fit the other three lines, and it also has to rhyme. It doesn't always have to rhyme, but in this kind of a poem, it does have to rhyme. And so if you do that in a poem, you know right away that poem isn't right. The Hebrews understand what feels right because this is their poetry. And so they when he says this, they know that verses 4, 5, and 6 are together, verses 7, 8, and 9 are together, and that really put those three verses together as a whole, and they say one thing. Does that make sense? That's what's going on. Let's look at the next one. 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so Matthew, a tax collector, would you read verses 10, 11, and 12 for us so kindly? Swallow your food first. That's just rude. Don't eat more.
Okay. To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt, his love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them, his love endures forever. With a mighty hand and outstretched arm, his love endures forever.
Okay, now I see a pattern. Verses 13, 14, and 15. Martina, want to read those in your Bible?
To him who divided the Red Sea asunder, his love endures forever, and brought Israel through the midst of it, his love endures forever, but swept Pharaoh and his army into Red Sea, his love endures forever.
Okay, now, Masood, would you read verse 16, 17, and 18, please?
उसी का जो बियाबान में अपने लोगों का रहनुमा हुआ कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, उसी का जिसने बड़े बड़े बादशाहों को मारा कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, और नामूर बादशाहों को कत्ल किया कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, अमूरियों के बादशाह सहून को कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है, और बसन के बादशाह ऊज को कि उसकी शफकत अब्दी है. Till 20.
Okay, all right, so let's go back up. First, we've got to him who struck down the firstborn, brought them out of Egypt from among them with a mighty hand and outstretched arm. Those obviously belong together. To him who divided the Red Sea. And you notice it says to him here. To him who divided the Red Sea asunder and brought Israel through the midst of it, but swept Pharaoh and his army into the Red Sea. And then to him who led his people through the desert. Now, actually, this line is actually by itself, because the next line again says to him, even though our English version doesn't say to him, but in the Hebrew it does say to him. So I want you to see 17, 18, 19, 20. All of those are together. So it really says to him who struck down great kings and killed mighty King Sihon, king of the Amorites, Og, king of Bashan. Those are all together. Okay? Starting in verse 17, 18, 19, and 20 are all together as one thought. Who struck down kings, killed mighty kings. Whoa, wait a minute. That's parallel. 17 and 18 are together. They're saying exactly the same thing. He struck down great kings and killed mighty kings. And then verses 19 and 20 are also parallel. Which kings? Sihon and Og. Those are also saying the same thing. So it repeats in verse 17 and 18, it repeats in 19 and 20. So he's changed the pattern. The pattern for the first 12 verses was statement, first line, and then 2 lines after that that sort of like explain it. Statement, 2 lines, statement, 2 lines, statement, 2 lines. Then we have verse 16, which is by itself, just by itself, and then 17, 18, 19, and 20. Those are all together. So you've got 2 couplets, but these 2 couplets really, it's really all of it together. Who struck down kings, mighty kings, Sion, and Og. You see what's going on there? Now, once you catch that, it's sort of, you realize, oh, wow, I see the poetry here. I see what he's doing. All right.
And sir,
Yes.
it's also for me like it's all building up on verse 4, like he does alone great wonders, and then he is explaining the wonders like he did great wonders. After that, verse 5, like he are talking about heavens and then earth.
So are you saying that verse 4 is really sort of the theme of the whole psalm?
Yes, could be.
Let's wait on that. Let's wait on that. Let's think of we're pretty much at the end here. So okay, verse 21, and gave their land as an inheritance to his servant Israel. This is obviously a doublet, so that's interesting. We've got doublet, doublet, and third doublet. So we have triplet, 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 but they're interesting triplets because the first line is the main point, and the second and third line in each triplet is explaining the first point, the first line. Here we have doublet, 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 and here's our third doublet, and it says, and gave their land as an inheritance to his servant Israel. So you can see, I'm not making this up. It's not like scholars are playing around and playing a game here. You can see that this belongs together. Gave their land as an inheritance to a servant. Lines belong together. 23. To the one, Martina, can you read for us, please, 23 through 26? 23
To the one who remembered us, 23.
23, 24, and 25.
Okay. To the one who remembered us in our low estate, his love endures forever, and freed us from our enemies, his love endures forever, and who gives food to every creature, his love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, his love endures forever.
Okay, so these last 3 verses are not like the other verses in this sense. They're talking about 3 different things. I mean, verse 23 and verse 24 are related, but he's still talking about 3 different things. And that jumps out. The reason it jumps out, I hope you can get this. The reason it jumps out is because that's not the way the others parallels have been. Either we've had triplets or we've had doublets, with one exception. Now we have 3 single statements that are related to each other, but they're not adding, they're saying different information. To the one who remembered us, to the one who freed us, and gives food to every creature. He is doing that as a way of bringing it to its climax and fulfillment. How do I do that? So roses are red, violets are blue. I like apples, they are red like you. If you eat apples every day and night, soon you will be able to see the light. Now, it doesn't make any sense, but in that you have all of the pattern. But here he breaks the pattern so that he gives 1, 2, 3 to sort of build up. This final one, give thanks to the God of heaven, does not say here. He says, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. At the end, he says, give thanks to the God of heaven. He's summing up the whole psalm. I would say, Masood, that verse 1 and the final verse are the point. I would say that what the author of Psalm 136 is trying to do, the author of Psalm 136 wants us to be thankful. He's showing us how to be thankful. We see God as the God of gods. He's the only true God. We see him as the God who does wonders. We see him as the God who's the creator. We see him as the God who is the rescuer. We see him as the God who is the giver of land and inheritance. We see him as the God who remembered us, who freed us, who gives food to every creature. He's the God of heaven. And I would say that the theme of this Psalm 136 is teaching us how to give thanks. I think that's what's going on. And the last verse and the first verse, I think they are the subject of the psalm. And what's inside of that is what we need to learn about how to give thanks to God. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry, this takes some work, which is kind of a pain. You just want to read it and get joy out of it. You don't want to have to work at it. Masood might preach this someday. When Masood preaches it, he's going to have to work at it. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to read this psalm, and I'm going to tell the people the things that really touch me. No, you can't do that. What you have to do is you have to look for these parallels, and you have to say, what is he doing here? What is the author of this psalm doing from beginning to end? And then I say, I want that to happen to my congregation. I want my congregation to learn how to be thankful. Thankful for creation. Thankful for God's great works that he's done. Thank you for the rescue that he did in Christ and delivering us from our sin. Thank him for the inheritance that he's given to us in Christ. And thank him that he is the God of heaven. So that's what we want to do. We want to do with this psalm what the author wanted to do when he wrote it. That's what we want to do. Okay. So we're done with praise psalms, unfortunately. We could spend the whole semester on praise psalms. We learn so much. They're so incredibly profound. We have to move on to our next, which is
Sir, these praise songs are mostly written by David or not by someone else?
this is written by somebody else. The first one we looked at was written by somebody else. So we got about 77, 78 Psalms by David. It's officially 73, but we have two others that are mentioned in the New Testament, so that's 75. And then we have maybe a couple more. It's around 77, 78 Psalms by David. That's more than half of the Old Testament. I mean, half of the Psalms are written by David. But lots and lots of praise Psalms are written by other people. You know, David's Psalms, he has wonderful praise Psalms. You know, often David's Psalms are requests. Lots of David's Psalms are requests and prayers. So it's whatever. All right. I haven't gotten to marking your quizzes yet. It's on my to-do list. I have 11 items on my to-do list. And last week, I got all of those items done except for marking your quizzes. So it is possible, with the grace of God, by tomorrow night before I go to bed, I'll get all of it done. And it's also possible that I won't. Okay? I'm going to try, and you can pray for me. I mean, you got plenty of more important things to pray about than that, but you really want to see your quizzes that you worked so hard on, which not all, I think all of you did, but not everybody in the class did. I only got 7 out of 9. Anyway, but just pray I'll get it done, because I want to get it done. I also want to get caught up on the to-do list. All right, any questions? I don't have any questions. Okay. God bless you all. I want you all to have a great weekend, okay? Just enjoy your weekend.
Okay, sir.
You know, all those exams and all of those papers you have to write and everything, I'll just skip them. You don't need it. All right. Just tell your professor that your whole house is sick with coronavirus, and if your professor doesn't let you skip it, you're going to just come over to his house.
Great idea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm recording this. I should have stopped that recording before I said